Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into the science of roasts and how to actually choose the right coffee for your health. We're going to deep dive into the data on something, well, most of us consume every single morning, right? I mean, we pour it into our mugs just to wake up and survive the day. But it turns out, your daily coffee habit, it's actually a highly personalized health decision. So we're breaking down the hard science of coffee roasts, looking at exactly how the beans you choose actively impact your body's chemistry.
So, light versus dark, which is healthier? It's a debate you've probably heard in cafes and kitchens literally everywhere. This explainer is basically setting up an epic showdown between these two beloved coffee styles. I mean, is it the bright, fruity light roast or the bold, smoky dark roast that actually delivers the most medical benefits? Well, spoiler alert, the answer depends entirely on your own body.
Okay, let's dive into this with our first contender, the light roast. We like to call this one the antioxidant king. See, because these beans are roasted at lower temperatures for a really short amount of time, they retain this beautiful, fruity, almost floral aroma. And fun fact, that quick roasting time actually keeps their caffeine levels higher than the darker roasts. But there's a pretty important detail to remember here, and that's the high acidity. That bright, tangy flavor is a total signature of light roasts. But, as you'll see in just a sec, that acidity can actually be a bit of a double-edged sword depending on how your digestion works.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the secret weapon hiding inside a light roast. It's a specific compound called chlorogenic acid. Honestly, this stuff is an absolute superhero chemical. It's a heat-sensitive phytochemical that is just packed with incredible antioxidant properties. When it gets into your system, it helps control blood sugar, it reduces insulin resistance, and it even actively boosts your fat metabolism. But here's the catch. It's super sensitive to heat. Because light roasts skip those massive intense roasting temperatures, they keep almost all of this incredible compound. A longer, hotter roast, that simply destroys it. So if you're looking for anti-aging and metabolic benefits, this right here is your secret weapon.
So what does this actually look like in the real world? How about 40%? Yeah, medical experts actually consider light roast coffee to be, well, kind of like a magical medicine for your liver. Regular consumption of this antioxidant-rich brew can reduce the risk of fatty liver disease and liver cancer by a staggering 40%. That's a massive, life-changing health benefit just hiding right there in your morning cup. Seriously, 40%.
But hold on. Before you go and throw out all your dark roast beans, let's do a quick comparison. Side A, the light roast, equals nutrients. Side B, the dark roast, equals comfort. While the light roast is phenomenal for your skin, metabolism, and liver function, the dark roast is actually the undisputed champion of digestive comfort. And this is exactly where we need to circle back to that double-edged sword of acidity we were talking about just a minute ago.
Enter the dark roast, or as we like to call it, the stomach savior. Now, because it's roasted at really high temperatures, it develops that bold, bitter, and smoky flavor profile that so many people just absolutely love. And since that high heat actually destroys some of the caffeine, the levels are going to be slightly lower. But here is the absolute most important point. It is remarkably gentle on the stomach. There's this huge, widespread myth out there that because dark roast tastes harsh and bitter, it must be brutal on your digestive system. But you know what? The science actually tells us the exact opposite.
And the reason for that awesome digestive comfort? It's all thanks to a chemical called NMP, or N-methylpyridinium. Now, you will not find this in raw coffee beans, and honestly, you won't find much of it in light roasts either. It's a completely unique compound that is formed specifically during that high-heat roasting process. And what NMP does is actively inhibit the secretion of stomach acid. So if drinking coffee on an empty stomach gives you heartburn or acid reflux or just a bad stomachache, this chemical is literally your best friend. It makes dark roast the safer, pain-free choice for anyone dealing with a delicate digestive tract.
So, the crucial point is this. You have to choose your fighter based on your own physical constitution. It's like a personalized health matchup. Got a strong stomach? Go for the light roast. Drink it up to get all those incredible antioxidants, support that liver, and boost your metabolism to the max. But if you're working with a sensitive stomach, dark roast is 100% your designated path. Please, do not force yourself to drink a highly acidic light roast just for the nutrients if it means you're going to spend the rest of the morning clutching your stomach in pain. At the end of the day, the healthiest coffee is the one that actually works in harmony with your body. Let's move to the next slide and see how this builds, because you might be wondering, where does that leave the diplomatic, globally popular middle ground? Enter the medium roast. As you can see, it's roasted right between 210 and 220 degrees Celsius, which gives it that darker brown color and a slightly oily surface. Flavor-wise, you're getting a sweet, mellow caramel and nutty aroma with an acidity that is just perfectly balanced. Not too sour, not too harsh. Because it sits right there in the middle, keeping a good amount of nutrients without completely overwhelming your stomach, it's incredibly versatile. And that's exactly what makes it the best choice whether you like your coffee black or blended into milk drinks like lattes and mochas.
All right, so we've explored the fascinating biological benefits of light, dark, and medium roasts. But we really need to pause right here, because there's a serious plot twist. There's an ultimate health warning that comes directly from medical experts regarding literally everything we've just talked about. All of these amazing, scientifically proven health benefits, the liver protection, the metabolic boosts, the stomach acid control, all of it can be completely and utterly destroyed by one incredibly common mistake.
No sugar, no creamer. Doctors are absolutely emphatic about this. If you are drinking coffee for your health, you simply cannot load it up with heaps of sugar or heavily processed creamers. The sweetness from the sugar and the trans fats from those creamers, they immediately trigger massive inflammation in your body. And that inflammation acts like a wrecking ball. It will completely cancel out all of the antioxidant and gut-soothing benefits the coffee beans just work so hard to give you. If you want the medicine, you've got to drink the coffee, not a dessert in a mug.
Which brings us to our final big question. Which roast is going to be in your mug tomorrow morning? Armed with all this data, you don't just have to guess at the cafe counter anymore. You can actually listen to your body. Are you going to reach for the antioxidant power of the light roast to protect your liver? Or maybe you'll choose the dark roast to soothe a sensitive stomach with that NMP. Or will you land right there in the balanced middle? The power is totally in your hands to make a personalized, healthier choice on your next coffee run. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope you learned something valuable today.